and then I have, and then they sent me an article over here. This is the paper that they were an article. The only thing is I can't read any of it because it's in their language. And of course, this is me, and then here's a picture of us and Hank Williams right down here. And then on over here in this paper is another picture of me, and the interview continues to be in this paper. They told me that they would send me an English version of this article that I could read, but so far I've never gotten one. And well, they sent me one, but I couldn't read it either because I couldn't make out the words. But anyway, this is a long interview on me and picture and of and us and Hank Williams. And that was my beautiful trip to Norway. And then I want.
You were so many places and met so many people, but you were also a friend of George Wallace,
Yes.
governor.
Well, when we was with Hank Williams in 45 and 46, well, George Wallace was a friend of Hank's, of course, and we was with him and Lurleen a lot at that time, and we helped in all of his campaigns running for governor and things. And in fact, we made several trips to Alabama and to help getting him elected. And then when Lurleen died, and he married Cornelia Wallace. Well, I knew Cornelia before they ever married, and so then every year I would go to Georgiana for the first weekend in June, and at the Hank Williams Festival down there at the Hank Williams Museum. And then on Sunday they always have church, and on Sunday there, but I would always come back to Montgomery, and I would go out to George Wallace's home. And of course, by this time he was in bed, and not able to be up, but I would spend the day with George Wallace. And then I have an article that I will give you that I went down for the funeral when he died, and they put a picture of me in the paper and an interview in the Montgomery paper when he died. But it was 2 months before then that I had been at his home, and the guard that was the security guard that was taking care of him at that time told me at his funeral that this picture that I have of me and him and him lying in the bed was the last picture made of George Wallace, and you will show that later on. But then I had, back when he was running for president, well, I had a trailer here in Memphis. We lived in Parkway Village, and I had a little house trailer, and I put it out here on 51 Highway South, and that was George Wallace's campaign headquarters for this area in here. And so just before I was to go to Georgiana, I was cleaning out my utility room out here, and I had and I found my license plate that had George Wallace for president, that I had on my limousine at that time, kept it on there. And I found it had a couple little rusty places on it, but I got those off, and I took it with me to Georgiana to get for when I got to get him to sign when I came back to Montgomery. And so then I wish that everyone could have seen his face when I pulled out that tag on Sunday, and I said, I've got something here I want to show you and I want you to sign. And it was that license tag. It said George Wallace for president. And he just smiled from ear to ear. And so he signed my tag. And now his son is running for governor of Alabama. And George Siegenthal, he's a big book writer, called me recently, and he's doing a book on Mr. Wallace, and he said that he was doing a chapter in there on me, and so I sent him the car tag and the pictures of Wallace that I have signed to me, and pictures of him and Cornelia and him and Lurleen, and so he said that those are going to be in the book when he finishes the book on his son that's running for governor of Alabama now.
Wasn't that a valuable thing for you to send through the mail? That's scary.
Yes, Leventhal called me and he said, "Why did you send?" I sent it 2-day mail. That's what I did. And he said, "I can't believe that you sent this tag." He said, "This is worth millions of dollars if you would put it on the internet or whatever." And he said, so he made copies of it, but I mean, I didn't realize that, but after he made copies of it, well, he sent it back Federal Express to me and insured it for a lot of money, and so I've got it in my bank vault now.
I guess we won't get to see that at
No,
this show.
well, we'll see a
get it
picture
later.
of it. You'll see a picture of it. I had a picture made with him and a picture that he had signed to me, and a picture of the tag. But I have that we'll show. But the actual, well, I could get the tag out of the bank vault, but there's no need because I do have a picture of it.
Reading the people that have been in your buses, I was so impressed with so many people that are just well known worldwide. Not just the country and western people like
Wow.
Johnny Cash, but so many. Lurleen, now I'm calling you Lurleen. Bernice, they say you might could have been Mrs. George Wallace if you wanted to be, because he loved you. But what do you think that you have learned from meeting so many impressionable and wonderful rhythm and blues, country and western, rock and roll like Elvis and all kinds of people in all of your lifetime? What has been one of the main things you think that you gleaned from this and in meeting so many incredible people?
Well, the main thing that I learned was that you reap what you sow, good or bad. I mean, I have done so many things. I've done things that I shouldn't, but I have done so many things for other people. All of my life has been doing for other people, for my children and for other people. And so then people has returned that. Whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, enthusiastically act upon, shall inevitably come to pass. And you are what you think, good or bad. You are what you think.
Mm-hmm.
And
In
so,
fact, you even have a poster that says that, too.
yes, I do. I certainly do. And those are things that, thanks to you and Success Motivation Institute that you got me into years ago, we talked about earlier, and with God's help, and that's what I have based my life on.
We're going to hear more from Bernice Turner in the life and times of Bernice Turner when we come back. Thank you for joining us.
Now there's a big picture in there.